My daily exercise was at first the 1 mile walk along a country lane to a local railway bridge to watch the Kilmarnock and Carlisle trains go by and to closely observe the local wildlife and the verges. Seeing the trains go by was giving you a feeling of life was still going on, at least in some part, in normality. I would then post photographs on Facebook. On one clear sunny day, I got a great photograph of Ayrshire Craig using my zoom lens. One of my online friends can't have come across zoom lenses before because he told me off for breaking regulations and driving the 25 miles or so down to Girth. It was quite surprising just how many neighbours and other locals were walking the lanes. All very sociable, stopping, having chats, getting to know people, getting to find in some cases they were actually isolated up in Scotland and wanted to go back down to England where they lived. But quickly it became obvious that the amount of litter was visually spawning my country walks. Much of it was coming from the many extra delivery vans who were either on tight schedules, chucking the rubbish out of their windows, or were eating whilst driving, or others were parking in laybys with food packaging, masks and blue rubber gloves, etc., strewn along the verge. The roads in general, though, were very quiet. I was even able to walk along the usually busy and dangerous main road, a very strange feeling. You wonder what's happened to the world, where when there used to be buses and everything else bombing up and down this road, all of a sudden it was quiet and you were safe to walk. I ordered a decent litter picker online and found that so much litter was out there that I had to leave the heavy filled bags dotted along my route to collect later with the car. Things like lots of fizzy pop bottles, for instance. I think I picked up 13 of them on one occasion. Sadly, it took only a few days for it all to be replaced. After lockdown, though, it's gone back somewhere near normal. Still not great, though, because there's still plenty of people been ordering online, so you're still getting the delivery drivers going up and down the road, and often they're on very tight schedules. Apart from Facebook, writing Wikipedia articles was a great diversion, as I had already written several hundred, and each one takes 30 or more hours of research, writing, illustrating and redrafting. The great social feedback, though, came from the local and natural history themed YouTube videos that I put together from new footage while using my large stock of stills. As a retired teacher, I had no trouble about adding a voice track, and people were mostly very positive. And sometimes I get delightful comments from those who'd found their childhood memories rekindled. A few more stressed souls, though, had a go at my English accent, but they were a tiny minority. Some of them, though, would get very upset about somebody who appeared to be from England, knowing a lot about Scotland. But as it happens, despite my accent, my grandfather and many relations before came from Maybole in Ayrshire. A great source of exercise, fresh air and a change of scene was walking along the fields to the local Lambrockton woods, using the old pronunciation there. Most people call them Lamberton, but I like the old name, Lambrockton. With a walking stick and bow saw to cut up dead wood and carry it home for use on our open fire. Nice way of keeping warm. There are a few more relaxing moments to be had than comfortably sitting in front of a warm log fire and staring thoughtfully into the flickering flames. Bring back memories of childhood, particularly messing about with bits of plastic from Airfix kits and then dropping the molten plastic onto my leg, getting a lifelong scar. Do-it-yourself took over my life for a while, and everything was painted, creosoted, cuprinoled, repaired or re-roofed. A bit like the Army's statement, salute it if it moves and paint it if it doesn't. Gardening is a great relaxation, particularly not in a hurry. And the lawn and hedges had never been cut so often. Also a time to look at the developing seasons, watching the spring, watching the first snowdrops come out. My collection of Wikipedia articles led me to delivering several Zoom talks to history and other clubs. The first Zoom talk was very odd indeed. Being married for many years and not much going on in your life under lockdown, you only get the occasional short comment being made to my wife, like, "Yes, dear." But speaking at length was something it just wasn't doing. So on the first Zoom it was very, very strange. It took me a while to get used to it. Particularly as you're staring at effectively a blank screen, in other words, your own material. There's no people that you can see, and you can't hear any people there either. We had cancelled a long-planned and booked holiday to Norfolk to visit friends and relatives, fortunately with no problems with refunds. We kept in touch with our daughters over Zoom, etc., not helped by our low bandwidth. Quite ridiculous. We were guaranteed 0.5 of a megabyte per second and a maximum of 3. In the end, we had to end up buying a gigacube, which uses a satellite, and that gave us about 10. So it was very difficult using the web without it. My wife kept busy making hundreds of masks using her sewing machine, producing a wide range of bespoke colours and designs that were offered to anybody who would turn up, the postman in particular. It was very odd seeing the neighbours without being able to socialise with them. We all kept a close eye on each other. We're all getting to an age where you do have to do that. So I teased the neighbours that I didn't hear the Hoover in the morning. I had to come around and check that they were okay. Despite everything, in an odd way, it almost seems a positive thing to have experienced and observed the extraordinary effects that COVID emergency had on our way of life and that of the country.